Michael Kugelman, the Deputy Director of the Asia Program and Senior Associate for South Asia at the Wilson Center. Michael, thanks so much for your time for us here at TRT World. How significant is the Myanmar military's decision to extend martial law in parts of the country, and what does this mean moving forward?
Well, it's very significant because unfortunately it means that the military has now given itself the justification to crack down even harder on these peaceful protesters. I mean, we've already had more than 120 deaths of protesters, and by extending martial law, that essentially suggests that the military is not going to show any restraint, is not going to hold back, and it will use this pretext of the need to restore stability and security as a reason to go out and do even more damage. And the images are just horrible. And the stories, the deaths of so many young people, absolutely horrible. And unfortunately, it seems that the military feels no need to rein in this policy.
Right, and in the meantime, Aung San Suu Kyi's hearing is postponed, as I was mentioning earlier, until later this month. Is this a tactic to keep her in the house arrest longer, despite the massive protests that we are seeing in Myanmar and the scenes that you are mentioning?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that for the military, the idea is that if she were to be released, then that would be embolden the protesters, and that would give them even more momentum to push the military to step down and restore civilian rule. So, unfortunately, I think that the military feels that Aung San Suu Kyi is an important asset for the military, and by releasing her from jail, that would just strengthen the protesters, which of course is not what the military wants.
And how important is the role of China? And do you think the Beijing will change its stance eventually, especially after we are seeing this rise in the number of casualties lately?
Well, the fact that there were attacks on, as I understand it, on Chinese targets in Myanmar, some Chinese businesses and things like that, that certainly will that will make China concerned. But I really don't, given the history of the relationship between the regime in Myanmar and the Chinese government, I don't really think that China would want to remove itself from its relationship with Myanmar, and it knows that Myanmar is going to be looking for more powerful friends now because it's lost a lot of the goodwill that it had with the world, given what it's done with this coup and these crackdowns on these protesters. So China knows that it's going to be very important to the regime in Myanmar, and I think China could use that to exploit its relationship with the Myanmar regime even more.
Michael Kugelman, we'll leave it there. Thanks so much for joining us here at TRT World and for your insight.